Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our call for tonight. And this is kind of a new interface that GoToWebinar has, but we will struggle through it. Both Laurel and I are here, and so whatever you have question wise, we will take your questions. So please feel free to write your questions in the box. And like I said, if we can't answer your question on this particular call, we'll always then look to get the answer and then do it next time. So let me make sure that I can see your questions, and I can. I think if you want to write them in the question box or the chat box, I'll be happy to take it either place. And you may have noticed that this particular PLR product, we deliver to you a way for you to be able to directly import your uh, your content into a platform. Now, going forward, and from now to the end of the year, I'm going to test out to see if System, I guess you pronounce it System.io, will actually work. And we're also going to just give you the share link for Go High Level also, and you'll be able to put your content there. And if you're an Ultimate Insider, which you should be, I would encourage you to be, then I'm going to be giving you a direct import share code, with our products going forward. Now, in terms of going backwards, that's going to take a little time. So probably between now and the end of the year, I'll be able to go back and at least do 2022. Maybe I'll get around to 2023 also, and then that'll be there for you also. Um, so any questions? If you have any questions, please feel free to write in the box. I try to keep you no longer than 30 minutes. So if you have questions about your online business, you have questions about PLR, or anything that you feel like we can answer, we're happy to take our best shot at it. Right? Um, so any questions? Um, One other thing I did kind of want to tell you about, which is that I think coming up next week, we're gonna start with a project that is kind of one that we look to release at the end of last year. We got busy with the doctoral program, and then probably next month, we'll start with leadership. Um, End of this month, beginning of next month, we're going to be doing something called bullet journaling, and this is a project primarily that Laurel did. And uh, Laurel, if you want to talk a little bit about bullet journaling, kind of what it is, and what people are going to kind of get in it in terms of the content.
Uh, sh- sh-
We can hear you.
I literally do not know what happened. At any rate, the product is going to be about bullet journaling, and I am looking at creating in just various subject matters within the larger topic of bullet journaling and what it is, and um, how it was created, why, by whom, and just looking at what its usefulness and its various applications.
It's kind of a productivity thing, right? So people do it to kind of manage their life and their schedule. And there was sort of one guy that kind of came up with the term, and then people have kind of gone from there. Oh, you're back. There you go.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I guess what I was saying was it kind of started as there was one guy who kind of coined the phrase, and then people kind of took it from there. But it's really designed to kind of help people to manage their life and to be more productive, as I understand it.
Right. The creator of bullet journaling was a guy who was struggling with his own life and his own, being organized and being productive. And I think he has a formal diagnosis of ADHD. And so he needed something very simple that would help him stay mentally focused and, be organized and ultimately more productive. And so he created this system that he calls a bullet journal. And you've undoubtedly seen bullet journals if you um, if you're on the internet at all and on YouTube at all. I mean, you hear these you hear a lot about bullet journals. You may have even used one yourself, and it is essentially a very user-friendly, user-generated tool and method of planning, method of organizing, method of being able to brain dump, write down to do tasks, and you are essentially creating your planner as you go. It's not a pre-printed or predetermined journal. This is something that you are creating as per your needs as you progress. So in that, he found that he was able to be more productive, and in creating this tool for himself, he created something that many people have found usefulness for.
All right, very good. Let's see. So maybe we got two questions. Um, okay, so Dana. Okay, so Dana's asking, will general tips and help on using Go High Level apply to our member version to augment your training, for example? Um, sort of. So the Go High Level course that I did really applies to people who want to run it as an agency. So if you have Go High Level and you're trying to get clients, um, that's the direction in which they want that software to go. Now, in terms of using it as a course platform, there is training available, and I could probably buy that training. I've just found that it's not necessarily relevant to what we do in terms of trying to sell digital courses. It's really designed for somebody who wants to add on selling digital products to their existing business. And what we do is a little more complicated. And so it really requires me to kind of get in and I'm sure there are people who do it. It's just that the level at which we think about things, I've just not found the training to be sufficient. The other thing, they really do want you and expect that you to use their autoresponder. And I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that you should switch your autoresponder and turn on theirs, just like I said about System.io. I don't think you should be switching. If you have Aweber or GetResponse, they sell they sort of sell the use of Go High Level and System.io. Well, you can get rid of your autoresponder. I do not think you should do that. I think that if you have an autoresponder you're using, it's delivering things, do not get rid of it. And Elizabeth. Okay. Okay. Elizabeth is new. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks for stopping in. And if we can answer any questions about trying to help you with your online business or your PLR, this is for. We just kind of get on 30 minutes and just take any question that you have. So there's no, we don't have an agenda. You all set the agenda. So welcome to you. And if I can be of help to you, please let me know. If Laurel can be of help to you, obviously you can let her know also. Okay, Dr. Medley, let's see. Okay, so you were attempting to log into System.io and New Marketer Workshop discount codes, but you were unable. Okay, so if you log into System.io, um, if you what you would have to do to get the share code to work is you're gonna be logged into System.io, and then you're gonna click on the link inside of the course, and then if you're logged into your System.io platform, if you're using something like Chrome, you should be able to just import that. It should import that course directly into your System.io platform. So it has to be inside of the course. You just click on top of the link, and then that'll add that course. Now, when you start talking about the insider code, that's really for your course platform that I give you. So that's the code that I give you. That's only for um, the Go High Level account sub account that I give you as an Ultimate Insider. So that's what that's for. So there's sort of two different processes. There's a process for just Ultimate Insiders, and the only people that have access to a sub account are you all. And so you all have to have a different process, and they don't make it easy in order to move things from account to account. They it's not that they discourage it, it's just most people don't use it that way. And because we're using it differently, um, uh, I had to have something custom programmed. And so there's a bit of a process. If you have problems beyond that, please send me a screenshot. Just make sure I know you're an Ultimate Insider, so I bump your question to the top of support, and then I'll see it. Right? So just maybe put in, insider question, and then put your stuff in support if what I explained to you doesn't really help you. Let me see. Okay, and then Dana said, I don't know, Laura, I don't know if you can see the questions. Dana says she's looking more learning about bullet journaling. She says she's been testing the journaling waters the past year or so. And t- t- can you?
I I can't see the questions, but if you've got something specific, I'd be more than happy to answer that. In a general sense, what I like about bullet journaling is the fact that it is essentially, I kind of touched on it earlier. It gives me a lot of freedom and flexibility in what I choose to journal and how I choose to do it. And I prefer the method that Ryder Carroll himself invented. If you've been online, if you've been on YouTube and you've seen other really fancy artistic spreads that are elaborate, take a long time to set up and require that you have some type of artistic skills, those don't really work for me because I'm not artistic. But the functionality and its basic form really helps me with remaining organized. And I was just looking through the first one I ever created, and what I like about the journal is that when I create journals or planners or whatever I'm using, I do so with an eye towards archiving. And so with a bullet journal method, I have that ability to archive it and keep it long term because as you know, when in a bullet journal, you're creating your index as you create and generate page after page in this journal. And so your index allows you to go back and to see what it is that you have written on all the pages. So if there's something in particular that you're looking for, you can find it in your index. Whereas with your regular planner or maybe your regular journal, you don't have your pages, your entries cataloged in that fashion. And is there a specific question, Charles?
No, she was just saying she's looking
No.
forward to what you're doing. Would you had mentioned before that some people are kind of using it in a therapeutic way. So I know some of our folks, they have an audience that's more, I know one person does grief, another person does personal development. So that's really kind of like one of those applications of it, right?
Right, absolutely. You can your bullet journal can be again, it's all about your journey and what you want it to say or how you want it to read. But if you are looking, for example, to process grief, then your bullet journal can be a way that you kind of work through maybe your daily moods, your daily thoughts, or whatever might be on your mind for that particular day. And again, you can kind of catalog that, uh, whether you're using the index at the beginning of the bullet journal or also a feature that many people use in their bullet journals is a tracker, like a mood tracker, or whatever you might be tracking. So if you're really focused on what your daily mood is like, you can enter that. Some people use them for fitness. What kind of exercising are you doing every day? How many miles might you be walking or running or whatever the case might be in terms of your fitness journey. Some people use them for nutrition and for tracking their meals. And that's particularly useful, for example, when you go to your doctor and they want to know what your diets looked like for the past, whatever, few days, few weeks. even months. So bullet journals are really great for that purpose as well.
All right, very good. Okay, um, anyone have any questions? Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. Dana says thank you, Laura. Um, Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, I hope that you like our system.io videos. Yeah, we typically do 20 videos. I try to cut out as much as I can, right? I try to keep them very short. Laura will tell you one of my pet peeves is, watching videos and having people visit with me, right? When people say, "Hey guys, just I can't stomach that, so I don't create our videos that way." Uh, but yeah, so we hope that you like we do. Okay, Santu's asking where can we find bullet journal as PLR. Um, I think we're talking about the 31st. If not the 31st, it'll be shortly after that, Santu. So or the first. It's either going to be I think it's going to be the first Saturday of September. I think that's when we're going to release it. So first Saturday of September, and then after that, um, we're going to be doing something called servant leadership. I think Laurel is going to be doing that, and that's also going to be in September. That's going to be more of a leadership line that we're doing, but this is more something that we had talked about doing this last term, and it's something that because Laurel knows extremely well and she's kind of immersed in it, um, and we know that this is something, it's a topic that people are kind of into. She's going to be doing that. Is servant leadership going to be PLR? Yes. It's going to be PLR. Yes, yes, ma'am.
When to respond at a bit more to Charles's response about bullet journaling, I am really working to get that finished so we can get that released next week. And you have to understand that Charles and I have different approaches, very typically male and female, in how we approach PLR content creation. Because for him, he makes sure that he knows the subject matter. He churns it out, bada bing, bada boom. And for me, it's a much more emotional process, and just getting more kind of involved with the subject matter, and intimately involved with it. So I do apologize that it has not gotten completed before now, but no, for me it's a much more emotional process than it is for Charles.
Yeah, well, that would explain things rather adequately. But yeah, Santu, yeah, servant leadership is going to be PLR, and that's really got to got to come out of some of the stuff that we studied. Um, we studied in the doctoral program. Dana says opposites attract. That's true. Very true. Uh, um, can you talk a little bit about servant leadership? I know you've kind of gotten into that, sort of like where you're going with that.
Sure. We are calling it leading by serving, and it is basically the topic of servant leadership as um, Robert Greenleaf conceived it in the early 70s. And when he first began to talk about servant leadership, it was in response to a void that was being seen even in the 70s in leadership, and specifically in terms of ethics not being there being kind of a void, if you will, in ethics not being demonstrated in leadership, I guess in the same way that it had been prior to that point. And so in this kind of void of true ethical leadership, true concern for those that you're leading, he kind of created this emphasis and began to discuss this importance of leading through serving those that are your followers, or your people, whoever your tribe might be. And so it took a while to gain traction, and it's kind of a paradox to talk about leading but yet serving. And so it has kind of taken a while for it to not only gain traction but to be taken seriously, because the uh, people would kind of think, well, how can I take leadership seriously if you're talking about serving? And Greenleaf's book, at least his seminal work, The Servant as Leader, written in 1970, really did give its readers a reason to kind of stop and reconsider what leadership really is. And it is an intimate involvement with those that who call you leader.
Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Like I said, we're rapidly approaching 7:30, so but we're not gonna hold you. Of course, we wanna take as many questions as we can. Other than that, we know it's Saturday night. Probably got things you got to do, and we're gonna be winding down our week over here also. Okay, Santu is asking to be unmuted. I'm gonna do the best I can, Santu, but I can't hear you yet, and it could
How
just be
about
this.
now? Okay.
I can hear you perfectly. We can both hear you.
Oh, great, great, great. Um, so my question is, just going back to what I was hinting at last week about um, creating products, physical products, I guess, related to the idea of loss and grief on Amazon. And I'm still not convinced that it's a good marketing strategy to either create products or connect it to somebody else's product that's selling on Amazon.
Santu, I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat it because, like I said, this interface is kind of wonky. I missed most of your question,
Okay,
unfortunately.
it's
Well,
no
I don't know if you
no
heard what you
problem.
said.
No problem. I can repeat it. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Okay, so thinking about creating products on Amazon or linking up with other people who have products on Amazon in the area of loss and grief,
Hmm.
I'm thinking this is not a good marketing strategy for me,
Hmm.
or a money making strategy, like to create products and sell on Amazon. And
You
I just
mean
want to
with
get your thoughts.
yeah, yeah. Now both
We won't
Laurel and I,
mention
we
names.
well, no, I mean, I think everybody knows you're talking about Greg's program, and
Okay.
what Greg's program is really, and Laurel, she's talking about Greg Caesar's program that we've been through, right? I think what his his program is really designed to say, okay, what can you combine information with that would make so could you take a $3 basket, add something to it like a training audio, and then bump up the price? That's really the design of that product. Um, in some cases, when he first started, he would say, um, just have an audio there. So for instance, our market of online marketing, that's not a good fit for that strategy. That strategy is a good strategy for something where, let's say that Laurel's talking about bullet journaling. Well, that could be a strategy where you give somebody an audio on bullet journaling, and then you give them the journal along with it, and then they get this package where, they're buying two things together and it's kind of priced as a unit. I think that's a basic strategy. Now, there's some markets though, like I think, unless you're doing something, there are probably some ways you could do grief where you could combine, an audio with something. But again, it's work. So, in other words, it's not going to be where you're going to build this audience and then you're going to sell that information product. It's going to be a little more work. You're going to have to kind of know the Amazon algorithm, and it's like a different process. So it's not the same as what we do. So everything that we've been saying, and everything you probably heard about marketing information and marketing your expertise, that doesn't necessarily apply to this case because you'd have to be a known commodity on Amazon for somebody to say, "Oh, that's Santu Carter. I want her. I'm going to buy her grief audio and her and her whatever her journal."
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of relying on the Amazon algorithm to say, Oh, I'm looking for a journal about grief. Oh, there's an audio with it, and people are kind of indifferent to who you are per se, and they're sort of buying the package together. And so that's a different way of marketing, especially if you're marketing yourself as an expert and you're looking to build a list. I don't know what you have any thoughts about that, Laura?
No, just that, uh, I'll just add something minor that I think that making it kind of personal, that if would-be customers can connect to you or relate to you on a personal level, that there might be some value in that. And so, like you said, not necessarily connecting what you do to someone else, but to allow customers to make a connection with you might prove to be helpful in promoting your brand and in creating something that sells.
I don't really understand what you said, Laurel. And my subsequent question is, am I going to have to do a lot of marketing for people to find me on Amazon, or does Amazon just kind of promote me? How easy is it for people to find my stuff on Amazon without me marketing or sending an email to my list or anything like that?
Well, that's the difference between what we do and because you're looking at Amazon doing the marketing, and so you have to know the Amazon algorithm so that people can find this item. And so um, he sort of teaches you how to determine what's selling. So in other words, you would not just sell what you wanted to in a grief market.
Mm,
You'd go and you'd find what's selling. You'd need evidence that it was selling, and then you would design something around that concept that you know people are looking for, and you need to be able to see, well, there are a lot of people searching for this every day, and then you design something around that. And so you're
right,
not looking for customers at that point because Amazon's sending you customers, but they're not necessarily sending you customers based on your expertise. They're
right.
sending you, yeah, they're sending you customers based on,
The
I want
trend,
something. Right, exactly.
the latest trend. Yeah. And that is not me. I am not a trend chaser. I offer something that's universal and is not a trend. It is a lifetime, lifelong theme. It's not trendy. It's not even desirable to most people. They run away from it. So I don't think Amazon's the right approach. And you've helped me clarify that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really not a trend chaser. I'm not interested in making money based on the latest trend. I'm My mission is to help people with a universal theme at the point that they need it. Very different. So thank you very much for helping me understand that what this course is about, and just to clarify that it's not for me. It doesn't suit my personality either, let alone my business model.
Right, yeah, yeah. You're gonna work. The work is different, right?
Yeah,
You're because you can't really. Uh, they get the product, and then you got to give them a sheet of paper inside of there that says, well, hey, if you want more, you want to join my membership, you can go to this address. And I've done that in some Amazon products. I just don't know that it's a lot of work, and it's different from being an expertise marketer. Totally different.
mm, thank you. That answers my question. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
no, no, you're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions? Let's see if we got something else up here. Uh, okay, well, Dr. Medley says it's his first time meeting you. He says good evening to you.
Good evening. It's nice to meet you too.
Yeah, Dr. Medley is one of our insider members. So, and he hasn't had his onboarding call. So, at some point, we'll be on with him together. So, we'll be seeing you at some point whenever you sign up for your onboarding call. If you're an Ultimate Insider, I would encourage you to do your onboarding call. And I have been neglectful in getting the great Laurel Harper on the call, but I will not be neglectful much longer. So these calls I love I love the onboarding calls. And Laura will tell you, I come in, I say, oh, guess who I met today? This guy, he's like this lady, and you know, and she should have been on the call in the first place. Um, so from now on, yeah, we'll be on there together. So looking forward to meeting some of y'all when you sign up for your onboarding call. Okay, everybody. Well, it is 7:35, and I don't like to hold you any longer than 30 minutes. And if you could have done anything on a Saturday night, but you chose to spend it with us. Oh, see, Santu has another question. Let's see. Do I have to unmute you? Uh, I
Can
think
you
you're
hear
still
me?
unmuted. No,
Okay,
you're still
great,
unmuted. Uh-huh.
great. Sorry, I had one subsequent question.
Hmm.
Just because I met with Greg, and he clearly knows a lot about marketing and all that. And I'm wondering if if you're aware of him having any other programs, or whether he coaches people just on general marketing, or is he focused on just selling his course?
Okay, we this
Oh,
interface. I missed your question. I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. Um,
Uh-huh.
so Greg clearly knows about marketing. He
I'm
knows
gonna
his
try.
stuff,
I'm
and
gonna.
I'm wondering whether whether he coaches or whether he offers some kind of marketing training or program other than this Amazon program, or is he only about Amazon courses?
I think he probably does. He probably does some training. Um, I've only known him to do this, um,
Mhm.
but he may have developed something over the years. And
Okay.
I can't remember when we signed up for this. It's been a few years now, and but I've known him like forever. So
Mhm.
um, and so he's been around. He's been around as long, if not longer, than we have. So um, I don't know if he does more stuff.
Okay.
He
I
might.
I know he's I know he's still recently he was still promoting his Amazon course.
Mhm.
That's how I came across him. But yeah.
Yeah, no,
So that's
it still works.
yeah.
It still works. You got to find like you got to find the right thing, and it's really operates like you don't really. It almost operates better to me if you're like not necessarily personally attached to like the market. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like if you can find the market that you're not, you just because in some cases, as I don't even know if they would connect Greg with a product that was sold. So if he's doing niches on Amazon, no one would even know that would be him. They would not associate the product
Yeah.
with him. And so
Yeah.
you'd almost have to be able to divorce yourself from the product, which is not going to be something like grief.
Yeah. And I mean, how am I going to build myself as a brand or a thought leader in this space if no one's going to know the product I'm selling on Amazon is made by me, created by me using my unique thought process, etc. That's not helpful at all in building up
Right.
my expertise, which is what I want to do.
Now I think that when you have a name, then I think
Yeah.
it can be because that's when
Right.
you would then take your audio, attach it to you can attach it to anything at that point. I mean,
Mhm.
like not that you would. I'm not saying, sell trinkets along with your information. But we see this all the time, right? Tony Robbins or somebody, they'll sell a whistle, like, get up in the morning whistle, and it's just a
Yes.
$2 whistle, and he sells it for,
Yeah.
X number of dollars because it's Tony Robbins
Yeah.
because they're buying the name and they're buying the information with it. And so at that point, though, I think then that's when you come back to like a strategy like that and you kind of use
Mm.
that Amazon algorithm so that it's another way of people being able to find
Yeah. Yeah. So wait until I build up a brand first.
you. Yep. Yep. It's a cash flow strategy, though. It could be like I know for some people, like if they don't want to do expertise stuff,
Hmm.
um, they they want to I mean it's a cash flow thing, right? So if you can find like a basket weaving thing and you're just going to do basket weaving because you know baskets sell, and nobody knows it's you. It's just the basket weaving company on Amazon. People are satisfied. Cash is coming in. It's like that kind of thing. So it's not something like you're building like your brand personally. It's not a personal brand.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Well, everybody, I appreciate you all hanging out with us, and it's about 7:40, and we will be back with you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight.
And I'm saying good night too.
All right, good night, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.